first thing, I know you're very familiar with Coach Nate Harris over there. What do you make of the position that he's in, and um, what he's shown, in leading that team for the last couple games?
Well, I know he's going to do what's best for the kids, and he's going to have them ready. And he's a great coach, but also a great person. So I think the world of him, and I just know I got to get my team ready.
Going into this game after the start to conference play that you've had, I imagine you don't want any kind of performance or emotional letdown going into this game. How do you make sure that everybody stays sharp, as they have been?
Your upperclassmen, they know how to lead. They know this moment. They know this Dahlberg arena. They know the atmosphere. So you got to really rely on your experience to kind of carry and prepare the underclassmen, and just really focus on getting better in your moment. Right now, we have a couple days to prepare, and we got to have great practices going into this game.
Is there anything about this year's version of the Grizz that you have to be especially mindful of?
Obviously they've got a lot of talent. They shoot the ball really well. They've had a couple really good games as of late on their home floor. They always play great on their home floor. And for us, this is about being great at just locking in and moving on to our next. Whether it was a good possession, a bad possession, I just want us to lock in on our huddle and really focus on a great next possession.
The Eastern game, having it kind of go back and forth like that and come down to the wire at the end, is that something that you're happy about? Like maybe hey, keep don't get complacent or anything like that, or was that just
yeah, the answer of happiness, right? So I felt like it was important that we had a game like that. I wasn't necessarily happy about the situation we were a part of putting ourselves in. I do want to credit Eastern Washington. They play a very good game and they're very scrappy. They had us in a dogfight. I did not think we took care of the ball well. I thought we were rushed all night. Didn't think we rebounded well. So I think the learning lesson is you just have to be efficient on who you are on every given night. We're going to get everybody's best game, everybody's best punch, and we expect that. We should be prepared for that. It was 3 games in 5 days, and our kids found a way down the stretch. Things that I thought were really helpful for us is just to see when we don't do our principles on a consistent basis, things can go the other direction. And so I think it helped us lock in and just focus on our principles, focus on our team, and just do that. Can't control, what other teams are doing, how well they're shooting, but we can control just being efficient in us. And I thought they did a great job at the end.
And Haley, has a lot of steals this year, but to see 11, I mean, what was she doing so well, and just how amazing was that?
Well, we absolutely needed every single one of them, to be quite honest. We were having a hard time putting points on the board, but she just has an act and a nose for the ball with an endless motor. When you got an athlete like that who doesn't get tired and she can do it repetitively, it's really exciting to watch. And obviously, she's a spark for this team. I think she's contagious in a very good way, in a positive way. And that group that kind of rotates in as we increase some speed. It's been really fun to see what she does.
You talked about the senior leadership, getting them prepared, but what do you specifically do as their head coach for the Esmes and the freshmen who haven't played in this game? How do you kind of get them prepared?
It's just a good reminder going into your week of making sure the upperclassmen set the tone, and I have to set the tone in practices. And I think those are the things that we need to be consistent at who we are, making sure we do not have a wasted practice, because it's going to be a very clear tone that's set from the start from the Grizz, and we got to make sure we do our part in that, of not getting anything easy right from the beginning. And we had a really rough start at Eastern. We certainly can't let that happen.
You talked about it a couple last weekend when I asked you what is special about this team. You said their unselfishness, and that talent can lose any day of the week. But
yeah,
we know what Esme brings on the floor talent-wise, but what does she kind of bring leadership-wise? KJ talked about her speech at halftime for the Eastern game. So what does she kind of bring leadership-wise for this game?
Well, we have relentless players, and sometimes that can get in your own way. You want to will things a little bit too aggressively, and I think Esme just gives us a calmness, a composure, a steadiness of, hey, this is the situation, of just kind of letting things come to us. Sometimes we compete for it too hard, and so when those things get into our own way, Esme has the calmness of the storm, so to speak, and I love that about her. She knows when to go hard at them, when to kind of come in easy. She also knows how to bring out the best in each teammate around her. She's very good one-on-one, but she also has a tremendous IQ and feel for what's going on. So we definitely want to let her have the reins and have some freedom to do what she needs to do with that team.
Esme said her favorite part of being in your system is just constantly learning. So how have you seen her grow in this, in her senior year even, these past 3 games?
Well, first of all, I want to start with her defense. She's in the Big Sky with some of the steals and how she has picked up our defensive philosophy, our principles. Tell her something one time, and she's already gotten it the second time, and I think that makes her remarkable as a player on both ends of the floor. She has really just continued to grow on just some of the little details of our defense. It's been exciting to see how she's worked that in, and on the offensive end, it's been really fun to see her grow on how to get her teammates involved, how to polish that off of bringing KJ some shots and getting Mara in some of those other pieces, whereas there's other times where she needs to put points on the board and take over. And, that takes a special skill set to get that balance and to play off ball. I think with our offense as we're evolving it, there's a lot of discussion of what Esme sees in that because we want it to work for everyone.
How pleased have you been, both, obviously with the depth of this team, but then the hierarchy as well with the different units?
We're a work in progress, to be quite honest. There's times where, well, first of all, you could go any starting five, and it's a good starting five. And we said that at the beginning of the year. I was joking with our boosters. I was like, okay, right up on a napkin in my starting five, and it's a good one. We'll go with it. And it's kind of what's unfolding. We have different mixtures that we do rotate at times, and sometimes it's fatigue, sometimes it's foul trouble, and other times it's just different groups have a great spark together. And when we go back to unselfish, that only works if everybody's selfless to maximize what we do have. And there are times where I don't feel like I've maximized everybody, and so that's why we are a work in progress as we're kind of gaining back some kids from injury, and we're bringing some kids that have been out previously. And what I love about this team is just they're ready. We just need everybody ready. We need everybody to be a champion in the role and to be a great teammate. If we can stay locked into that, great things can happen.
And not just this year, but throughout your career, what do you think have been the biggest keys to defense? Not just playing so well, but always seeming like so on the same page.
Well, obviously, defense has been where we started with our identity. But, last year's group was a great example of we had a hard time putting points on the board, but we kept ourselves in every game because they did buy into that end of the floor. And then this year's group, you're seeing us do a few more things in the backcourt just because we have more legs, we have more depth to be a little bit more aggressive, full court, and we can rotate fresh bodies. So, I think defense, when you have that kind of legs and you've got the ability to rotate, then you can do a few more things, and that's what we've been doing.
What has been your approach to implementing Lexi and Taylor back in the lineup? Obviously, Lexi's started a little bit more recently.
Well, yeah.
What has it been like to kind of get them back, and what are you asking from them?
Well, the challenge is the time of it, right? Where we have been establishing flow and getting everybody going, and then you're working back these seasoned veterans that have really special skill sets and impacts. While also being really cautious and making sure we're managing their minutes, that we're rotating them back well, because they are coming in the middle of the season with just being cleared. So, there's a little bit of a fine balance of that as far as how that works for flow for everybody, including Lexi and Taylor, but also making sure that, we're paying attention to 3 games in 5 days, 2 games right here for Thursday, Saturdays, and how making sure everybody's recovering well.